Hi and welcome everybody. I am the DIY Swede. This is part 8 of my DIY home cinema. Rewinding the clock. This is how it looked. About 7-8 months before it was almost finished. Still a lot of things to do. For example, the walls, the ventilation, the back sides, acoustic stuff, the wooden pieces, here you can see the front wall. Quite a lot of things to do. One big challenge was the size of the room. As you see, it's not that big of a working area, so I had to play Tetris with the furniture and move them around quite a bit to have the space to work. I wanted a good looking absorber and diffuser in the back, so of course came up with a genius idea to cut out granite and calculate the absorption. So as you see, have to have 3 millimeters of space and 30 millimeters of granite. And as you see, it's quite a challenge to cut 30 millimeters of granite because it's not made out to be stable at these small sizes. But for the most part it went quite okay. But I had to grind and polish all the 45 degrees so that it shouldn't be rough edges and look polished from the front. A lot of people thought this was a cooler, but actually it's a cabinet for the players and preamplifiers and active crossovers and so on. And the ventilation out from the cinema is taken from these cabinets. Inside of the acoustic absorber I have some of the newer films that I want to see in the near future. Here you can see the polished 45 degrees of every strip of granite. And yes, I was quite fed up with the polish after this work. Before each and every time I bought a new computer that I built myself for the last 20 years, I thought this time is the one. I have to make it absolutely quiet, because one of the worst things is having a buzzing computer. So even if I bought the best parts, the most quiet parts, 12 dB on each and every fan, but in the end it sounded like an airplane. So in the end I gave up. So I had to build me a box that kept the sound in and ventilated really good. As you can see in this part, I have 3 14 centimeters Noctua fans, and in the other end I have 3 more. So the ventilation is good and no sound comes out. QRDs is a way to scatter sound. You have 2 dimensions and you have 1 dimensions. You can use them in the front wall, on the back wall, on the side walls, and in the ceiling, depending on what you want to achieve. I have 2-dimensional QRD on the side walls beside the left and right surround speakers, and a bigger QRD 1-dimensional in the back. You need to calculate them correctly to have the maximum scattering effect. And the deeper it is, the lower in frequency it gets. And there is a lot of calculation programs on the internet. So you can see the left and right tables were quite big contrast in the jacaranda. And I really didn't like that. And I didn't like the yellowish tone. So I stained the yellowish part to more of the red-brown color that I liked more. But it was a really tricky quest because the color when it's wet is completely different from when it's dry. Here's where I glued together the upper sided tables. You have to paint, dry, sand, paint, dry, sand, paint, dry, sand a couple of 100 times before you get it really smooth. Okay, maybe not 100 times, but quite a lot of times. There you can see the rough wood pieces before I have cut them out. And here is it cut out. I had the template from the old oak part. Here I'm about to lacquer, dry, sand, lacquer, dry, sand again. And this is the final result. And here's the aluminium DIY boxes for the Hypex amplifier modules. Each 400 watts module is coupled to 2 bandpass subwoofer boxes. Here is the box for the projector. And at first I thought it was okay to have 1 ventilation hole in the back right corner. But that was before I learned that the projector takes air from the back and shoots out hot air in the front. So for me that was the worst case, because it made the air just circulating around in this box. So I had to make a new intake in the left and force air around and up and through all this and out in the back right corner. Here you can see the intake in the left of the picture and going all the way through. And it's not finished at this stage. And up and around and out in the right corner. This is half of the ventilation system. You can see the other part, the other half of the ventilation system. Where you take air up and around from the left to the right, force it to the back. If you have any questions, please comment below. I will try to answer them as best as I can.